Welcome to the Creepin' It Real Show, your one-stop shop for weird news, spooky, and otherworldly and paranormal shenanigans. We'll take a dive into what's going on in creepy pop culture. You can follow Creepin' It Real Show on Twitter at creepin_it. You can email us at creepinitrealshow@gmail.com. You can also go to our website, creepinitrealshow.com. Without further ado, welcome to this week's episode.
Hello, creepers. Welcome to the Creepin' It Real Show. I almost forgot how to even introduce us. I am Moni, and I'm going to bring in our other hosts. Let's go with Yardley. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's the first day of football season later today, which is a sign that fall's on the way, and I'm kind of excited about that.
That's awesome. I become a football widow officially today. The first Dolphins game, which is my husband's team, we don't even know if it's going to be televised, but he is already planning to try to get out of his Sunday chores so that he can watch football.
Hey,
so,
bravo.
Yeah, you have a tailgate you're headed to today?
Yeah, I'm going to head there right after this show, so I'm excited. Got my fingers crossed. Whenever I watch the Falcons or watch them live, they tend to lose, so I almost feel like I should probably not watch.
Yeah. Oh, no. You're jinxing it. And I hear the giggles of Kristi. How are you, darling?
Yes, I'm good. I'm excited about football season. Yes, I become a widow as well, but it also means chili. It means I make all my different chilies for the season, and that always excites me because one of them is my New Mexico green chili, and it's pretty much famous around these parts, and it's like a big thing. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited to be well again. I have to take full responsibility for us not having a show. I had a freak accident and ended up with a concussion, so only me that would happen to. And then I got to go fly and see Moni, and we spent a couple of days together, and she had to hear about me not pooping because anytime I fly, I can't poop. Anytime I travel, I don't know if anybody else's body is like that, but when I leave my home, I can't poop. And so I was having a ball, but not in my utmost excited self as I was doubling over going, oh, but, this poor thing had to listen to that the whole trip. But, otherwise we had a lot of fun and ready to get things back to normal. And if you guys listen to the whole show, we'll be talking about a giveaway later. So tune in.
Yeah. And I want to give some shout outs regarding our San Diego adventures. And of course I prepared none of this, but we actually were able to do some tours, hang out with some friends, all masked and vaxxed, of course. But we went to the Gaslamp Museum, which is also known as the Horton Davis House, which is the oldest historic home in San Diego that still stands. We had some interesting encounters with the team, with the ghost there. But I do want to thank the team from Pacific Paranormal Investigations, who, of course, we've had on our show. We've interviewed them before. Those gentlemen, Carl, Brian, and Tim, actually came and did an investigation with us in the Horton Davis house, along with some other fan favorites such as Dan, who has sometimes filled in for the show here. So we had a lot of fun. What did you think about that house? Did you feel any Wookiees while you were there?
I mean, I did. And I wasn't really expecting it because when we walked in, the curator lady, she's larger than life. So she kind of takes up a lot of the energy in the house when she's talking, and she's just kind of used to it being people that are just tourists, and we're actually there to do an investigation. So we were kind of in a different mindset than I think her normal crowd that she's used to having at the house. So she was all about entertaining us, and we were just trying to investigate. So it was kind of hard to really hone in and get all your senses out there when she's putting on her little show thing. But I very unexpectedly got my hair touched twice. And the first time we were upstairs in the master bedroom and I felt it, and Moni had a gadget that she was using, and she wasn't facing me at the time. And I said, oh, something just touched my hair. And she jerked her phone around and she goes, yes, there's something right behind you. And so then we knew, A, that her gadget works, and B, it also backed up
We know
that
that Kristi's gadget works too.
Yeah, my hair. And so then, you know, okay, cool. And the curators thought that it was probably Annabelle, not the doll, but this woman named Annabelle that lived there. And then I went downstairs into the kitchen, and again, I got my hair touched again. So Annabelle apparently liked my hair. So that was pretty interesting. I also heard, and I don't know if I told you this, Moni, but when the paranormal guys were upstairs trying to do an investigation, I heard what sounded like music box sound, like twinkling.
Oh.
So I pointed that out to him, and I said, hey, you know, I waited. And then I said, when you asked that last question, I heard music box type music. So mark that and see if you hear it. So let me know if they heard any of that, if it showed up on their recorders. So that was.
Yeah, I'll follow up with those guys. They, Tim Mountain, of course, who was one of the investigators, is also a great photographer. And I posted it.
Yes.
Yeah, I posted it to our show page because, I mean, we all, like, the place is beautiful. We all took our photos, but like, he took some beautiful freaking photos of that place that look like creepy and fun. So.
Yeah, really quick, if you guys are ever there in San Diego, it's a must see. That house is absolutely amazing. It's got a lot of all the original stuff, and it's filled with different characters of types of people because it's seen so many different types of things throughout the years, different people living there, and it was a hospital at one time, and it was just amazing. So kudos to Moni for putting that one together. That was awesome.
Yeah, and thanks to that, to their team, that actually runs the house, because there's a lot of things that are still closed down out here, y'all. The Whaley house being one of them. They don't know if it'll reopen actually because they've lost so much revenue. But so it was really cool of them to like find someone to take us on this tour. Super appreciate it. And also, we had a tour with the Haunted San Diego team, and they actually take you through some of the historically haunted areas. They have this young man who is very, very theatrical. Yes. We had a lot of fun. They did try to scare me with fake spiders, and I wasn't having that at all. But other than that, we had a good time on that tour, and they do have some exclusive access to things like the Whaley House, and I forget the name of that other museum that I've been trying to get to forever, but some really, really cool, and I highly recommend it because basically all the places that I would recommend someone seeing if they were interested in this kind of thing, they go to and tell the stories of. So anyway, that was fun. And Kristi, we actually stayed at the Horton Davis Hotel.
Davis. Yes. Yeah. The Grand Horton Davis Hotel, which
a gorgeous hotel.
Which was actually a stop in the paranormal tour. And we were like, hey, we're staying here.
So super quickly, and I purposely didn't ask you this question. So I left early in the morning to get back to work on our last day, but we had some experiences light. But I want to ask Kristi, like, did you have any, without me in the room, additional experiences or anything going on in the haunted room that we got to stay in?
So the room is 2 rooms. Like there's like a front room that has a couch and a desk and a refrigerator. And then there's the room with the beds and then the bathroom. I didn't have anything. It was the same thing. Basically the front room was very, very creepy. Like we didn't even want to go in there. And I'm not usually afraid of like walking into places where I feel like it was just this constant feeling like you were being watched all the time.
Like you were being watched, and also like you weren't wanted there. Like especially in that room when I would go to like make coffee, you know, the coffee maker was in that room, or put something in the fridge. It was like, get out of my room. And I was like, okay. Like, you know.
The worst part is like you had to turn the light on by the door. So you had to walk through the dark room to get to the light switch. And it was funny because Moni was making me tea that night because, like I said, my stomach was not happy. And she's like, "This is how much I love you." She was like walking through the room, dark. It was uncomfortable. And then when I was taking a shower,
us because we're very used to spirits being around with how sensitive we are, and both of us, we had wanted to kind of like turn off the lights and sort of call out whatever was there, and we were kind of like, let's just turn off the lights and see and feel what we see and feel. Let's not invite anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was a moment I was in the shower, and because the shower curtain had like this gauzy part on the top that you could see out. And I was like, I felt like something was watching me in there. And usually that's like, okay, whatever, you feel like something's watching you. If I feel like something's watching me, it's pretty much something's watching me.
Yeah.
There is no, I get like these weird chills that start from like my middle back and they go up the back of my head, kind of to the top of my head and then down my arms. And that's when I know something's around me. I can feel it. And that happened several times, but nothing like showed itself. Moni woke up in the middle of the night and was like, there's something in that room.
So you could argue that it was a dream maybe, but I'm pretty good at like still having young kids right now. I'm pretty good at like, if something wakes me up, I can come completely awake pretty quickly because, you know, somebody's peed their bed or whatever the hell, had a nightmare. So I'm dead asleep, and I was sleeping like shit that night, but I finally made it dead asleep, and I was pulled like out of a super deep sleep, and I didn't want to open my eyes. And I'll tell you why. I've never actually seen like a really good, I've seen it in pictures that I've taken like after the fact, so on and so forth, but I've never seen an apparition. And I was woken up and I was like, if I open my eyes right now, I need to not scream, like not wake up everybody in this hotel, because something is watching me and it's going to be right in my face. And so I literally had to like talk myself into getting brave enough to open my eyes. I opened my eyes and I didn't immediately see anything. And then I had to talk myself all over again into rolling over, because I was like, I'm going to roll over and there's going to be something not pleasant staring.
Yeah.
That's how certain I still felt it. And I rolled over and I looked, and it was on your corner of the room, Kristi. I didn't see anything, but if I had picked up my app right then, I probably would have gotten a picture.
Yeah.
There was definitely something about women's height, like not super tall, standing in the corner of the room by the window on Kristi's side of the room that was watching us. It was just judging us and watching us. So I don't know what that was about. I'm like mixed bag of not having seen it because I still want to see something, but I was like, this is creepy. So yeah, that was my experience in that hotel for sure.
Yep. So that was our haunted little 2 days of hauntedness trip. And then we went to Coronado Island and hung out at that hotel. And we were talking to everybody not everybody, but everybody that would wait on us. They have experiences there. So next time, maybe we can do an investigation there. That would be awesome.
The Hotel, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it's worth being out there anyway. So I'm going to move us forward in our day since we're so excited to be back. Okay. So one of the last shows that we had before our hiatus was the Murdah Murders, and that is how you pronounce it, the Murdah Murders. If you remember, it's the family that has 100-year history in South Carolina of being like lawyers that work the criminal justice system, may or may not be tied to the quote unquote, run over, hit and run death of a young gay man in the area. Definitely were tied to the boating accident of Mallory Beach, who actually died on the boat where the son actually was drunk underage and drove the boat into a bridge and crashed it, and she passed away. He was actually awaiting trial when famously in June of this summer, he and his mother were gunned down at one of their family estates. Since then, there's been very little by way of updates to that investigation as to who done it, except for, the father is continuing living in the area. So cut to September 4th, you guys. Paul Murdaugh, the father, he was the husband to Maggie, and Paul Murdaugh was the son. So Alex Murdaugh, husband to Maggie, father of Paul, who were gunned down in June, was driving on a 2-lane rural road. He was actually driving his late wife's Mercedes SUV when he received a warning on the dashboard that the tire was low. So he pulled over and stepped out to check on the tire, and the car that had been following him, that was behind him, drove past, turned back around, actually put the window down and got his attention, which how he can't ID these people, I don't know, and ended up pulling out a gun, putting 10 in the car, 10 rounds, somewhere between 6 and 10 rounds into the car, and one that grazed his head. It's a lot to take in. Also, as far as grazing his head, there was a lot of speculation at first that, he was able to talk. He called 911 for himself. He called his brother lawyer. He was airlifted out of there. And then apparently the investigators on the scene, the police, put that there was no noticeable physical damage to him. And so that caused a lot of, that was just a checked box. They're saying the box was checked in error and that he actually had a fractured skull from the bullet graze. Whatever happened, he wasn't in the hospital for very long. So this is a lot to take in, but they still have no leads on that they're sharing anyway. 2 days
Lots of
after that,
speculation, though, online.
lots of speculation. 2 days after that, he releases a statement that he's resigning from his law firm. Now, here's the thing. When we say his law firm, it has his family name in it. This is the law firm that his family established 80 years ago. He's resigning, quote unquote, and checking himself into rehab for opioid addiction. It turns out that the law firm came out the same day and put out a statement saying that he had stolen at least $1 million recently. Like, since his family has been murdered, he has stolen $1 million minimum from his own family law firm. They fired him. His law degree has been taken away. His license to practice in the state has been it's suspended. So Kristi, go ahead and read this really quick just to recap what I said, and then Yardley, go ahead too. But Kristi, go ahead. September 4th.
So September 4th, father of Paul Murdaugh and husband to Maggie, Alex Murdaugh, is shot in the head while changing a tire in Hampton County, according to a family spokesperson. SLED is investigating. He is hospitalized in Savannah and said to be conscious and speaking. On September 6th, Alex Murdaugh releases a statement that says, in part, he's resigning from his law firm and entering rehab. Later that day, the PMPED law firm says Murdaugh was stealing money from them. This is disappointing news for all of us. Rest assured that our firm will deal with this in a straightforward manner. There's no place in our firm for such behavior, the law firm said in a statement. So the question is, of course, you said nobody knows who shot him. Their speculation is he shot himself.
Yeah, that was one of the theories.
Yeah, is that he shot himself, or whoever he hired to kill his wife and son came looking for their payment that he hadn't given them. So those are the
police have come back and said that he did not shoot himself, whatever evidence they have about that. But I will say a couple things before Yardley reads his piece as well. First of all, he put a large, what is it called? Death on his wife, an amount of money that he would get paid.
Insurance policy?
Yes, he had a large life insurance policy on her, and the fact that he needed, quote unquote, to steal $1 million, a lot of people are speculating that all of it may come back to drugs. That he may be in way too deep with needing, money for drugs, and it has caused, him maybe not paying drug dealers and them coming back to get their payment. So that would be really sad and messed up, but that's also apparently Paul, he was awaiting trial for the boating death of that young lady for which he was responsible. And, there's actually a lawsuit. Oh, this came out too. The Beach family, Mallory's family, the young lady who was killed, has put out a bunch of freezes. They've actually frozen all of their assets, all of the Murdaugh assets. And it looks like even if they hadn't won in criminal court, they are going to win in civil court and get a hefty settlement for which apparently Alex does not have money for. And this came out recently. This is a bombshell. His now late wife, Maggie, had asked for a forensic investigation of their financial situation. Mm-hmm. So she was going to be getting into what the fuck was going on with his drug use, with his use and appropriation of their family money. A lot of speculation that she was going to file for divorce, in which case he wouldn't be entitled to her life insurance. So, go ahead, Yardley, with September 8th.
Well, it's that. And also, but isn't there a thing where if you're married, you can't testify each other in court or something like that? And all of that type of stuff. Okay. Well, September the 8th, 2021, the South Carolina Supreme Court suspends Alex Murdaugh's law license effective immediately. The court document states that the Office of Disciplinary Counsel asked this court to place respondent on interim suspension pursuant to Rule 17B of the Rules for Lawyer Disciplinary Enforcement contained in Rule 413 of the South Carolina Appellate Court. Mm-hmm. Respondent consents to the issuance of an order of interim suspension in this manner. So it's basically saying that it is ordered that the respondent's license to practice law in this state is suspended until further order of this court. And this came after Murdaugh had officially resigned from his law firm that Monday.
So he's got a drug addiction. He can't work. He has not received his life insurance. And the timeline doesn't show it here, but there has been, like, right after the shooting, the Mallory Beach lawsuit, you know, their lawyers actually came in, and now all of that is frozen too. So he's part of checking into rehab may have just been so that he could be physically safe and not buying drugs for a short amount of time.
I gotta say, because I know somebody that struggled with opioid addiction, a bad one, and to this day still does. Like, we've had to completely remove ourselves from this person. A lot of people that I know, you know, we completely cut them out of our life. We've had to, because it's just, you can't be around somebody that's, you know, that deep into the opioid problems. But I have a very, very hard time buying that all that money went to one person's opioid drug problem. It's not that expensive. It's easy to get opioids. You can get them with a prescription. You can get methadone, which is basically like the opioid hack from drug club. I mean, he probably knows a lot of people that could hook him up around that area. So I'm really struggling with the fact that he would take all of that money for drugs. That's just, unless he's dealing and doing all this other stuff in there too. Like, there's something else. I think he also paid to have his wife and kids
I wonder if this is all panic over Paul's actions. Both of his kids really have had a lot, because the Stephen Sprouse murder, that young gay gentleman that I was talking about, that's being reinvestigated as well. All of these things, and there's more coming out about Paul causing minor lawsuits and things around the community. Like, I'm wondering if he got rid of his son preemptively because of how much he was costing the family.
Right. It's possible. It's that, because if he's stealing $1 million from the firm, plus he's got his own money. I mean, I'm sure he's not making pennies with his own paycheck. Something else the money went somewhere for something, and hopefully it'll all come out at some point. Also, I think it was easy for him to get rid of his wife, because, like you were saying, she was on to him. She knew something was going on. Mm-hmm. So it's just bizarre to me that they both got shot at such a convenient time that he wasn't there. There's just something
he found them here, so that he had an alibi.
Yeah.
And maybe he thought he'd get the life insurance and pay the people who killed his family, and he didn't get the money in time. And they came to warn him, you know, by the way, fucker, you haven't paid us. And he was trying to get the money to pay them. I don't know.
Yeah. He's definitely in over his head. As far as something's concerned, because just like Kristi was saying, if you had $1 million to speak on opioids, you probably would have killed yourself.
Dead.
You know what I'm saying? Well,
too much drugs.
Exactly.
He could have paid somebody to shoot at him and then also, like, graze his temple. I know that's a pretty high risk injury to have, but just to pick the trail off of him, I don't know. I mean, yes, it could be somebody coming after him because he owes them money from the murder, or he's gotten himself involved with a group of people with his drug habit that just want to knock him out anyway. Or, I mean, it could be, there's a lot of different, it's all going to come out because there's just too much visibility on it now. There's too many people talking about it. It's all over the internet right now, like everywhere.
Do y'all think that whatever comes out of this is going to be a result of an investigation? Or, because I think at this point, after your family's been killed and you've been shot at, I'm pretty sure at this point, if he was going to up and, spill the beans, if he is involved, I think that would have happened. And the fact that he hasn't yet, I
was also laughing because his brother lawyer, backed the fuck away from him. The family's statement was just like, we're disappointed that he does drugs and that he stole from us. I'm sorry for what he's going through. It's like, those are your family too, homie. Like, they threw him under the bus and then drove over it. It's just.
Yeah. Well, I think they've all been out for their self-interest. I mean, didn't they have a senator in their family or some congressperson or something?
He passed away just in time for all of this to happen. But that was actually Alex's alibi, was he was visiting his very sick father, who then died within 2 days of that.
How convenient.
Yeah. So I don't want to take too much time because I know we want to hear what we've been watching. We've got lots of recommendations. Super quick, and Yardley, props to you. You actually brought this to our attention. Slender Man, if you guys remember the case where the young ladies became obsessed with the Slender Man and the one led the other girl out into the woods and like stabbed her and left her for dead. She went to prison. She's actually being let out. And I just want to know how you guys feel about that. 3.5 years in a mental health facility. She's still very young. She is 19 now. She was sentenced to 25 years. And now that basically the state has not been able to give sufficient evidence that she is still a threat to society. And so they're going to let her free. There are conditions. She's going to have to check in with a counselor and shit. But how do you guys feel about someone who purposely like lured her friend and gave her 19 stab wounds and left her for dead, getting out 3 years later?
Isn't Anissa Weir is the one who watched though, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, she is the one who watched. I mean, 3.5 years. Gosh, I mean, most people are probably going to say, hey, that's not enough. I haven't seen any statements from the girl who was stabbed or her family. Was there any information on what they have to say about this?
No,
or have there been no statements?
Honestly, I think she likes to stay out of things after what she went through. But yeah, you're right. She didn't necessarily do the stabbing, although I wasn't there, so who knows? But she definitely helped lure this other girl, knew what was going to happen, and left her there. So,
well, I know that the victim had did a thing on ABC News, and I can't remember where it was. I don't know, 3.5 years. See, for me, I can't be outraged if the girl who got stabbed, her family isn't out here saying she needs to stay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? So, good luck to her, I guess. But yeah.
I feel like this is the biggest problem and it's kind of a win for the defendants when they get to go to a mental institution, because it's too easy to get out of a mental institution. It's not that easy to get out of jail. Like you go to prison, you're in prison. Like you can get up for parole, but it's difficult. It's not easy to get out for parole. But when you're in a mental institution, that's easy. You can just say all the right things, especially if you're a psychopath, and I'll say and do all the right things. And then it's up to who to prove that she's still a danger to society. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. She was a danger to society. She lured a girl into her death and had nothing else to say about it. Watched it happen. Like, that's a danger to society. It's only been 3 years. Like, what in the world would have changed in 3 years? I have a very hard time with, I believe in rehabilitation, but I also feel like that's not a long enough rehabilitation time.
Agreed.
There needs to be severe consequences for stuff like that. I don't care how old you are.
At least halfway through. Yeah, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just, it's a sad situation. I'm surprised with 16 stab wounds that the victim had survived.
And was left there. Yeah, for sure.
Because didn't she she dragged herself to the road or something like that. And I think somebody, biker or something.
What a horrific thing to go through.
Yeah. And they just left her there. The girl saw it happen, helped it, and then left her there just to die. Like, I can't, if she was my kid, I'd be like, I think you need to stay in there a little bit longer. Like,
I'm not ready to try to deal with you for sure.
Hell no. Like, how do you look your kid in the eye knowing what they did and be like, cool, glad you're home. I'm gonna lock my door every night. And,
that's what I was gonna say.
You know,
keep the woman in the house. Kristi drinking her wine behind like a triple locked door.
With a gun under my pillow.
The baby monitor. Like watching everybody.
I got cameras all over my house, and I would add more.
I hear you.
So let's get through our recs for what we've been watching, because in case Yardley has to bounce, we will still go into the weeds on some of these. So, sir, tell us what you've been watching in our time off.
Some of the stuff that actually, a lot of the stuff that both of you have are things that I watched as well, so I'm just going to skip those.
Okay.
But I watched this show on Netflix fairly recently. It's called Paper Tigers. And it's about 3 middle-aged men. They were former kung fu prodigies, and they set their differences aside. They kind of dust off their skills, and they, to avenge the death of their mentor. We've seen this storyline like probably a trillion times in movies, but what makes this kind of unique is just the fact that the guys are middle-aged now, so it kind of deals with, obviously, you're not young anymore, so you can't do things the way that you used to. It deals with like keeping your word, and honor. But I think it's a funny show, especially if you're middle-aged and you watch it, because a lot of the issues that they have while they're still trying to kung fu it up, like in their 40s. it's stuff that you can like identify, you can kind of identify with. So it's fun. And it's also set up in a way of how you remember like in the 80s when you had the Karate Kid and The Last Dragon and all of those things, it kind of carries that vibe of like 80s kind of comedy / revenge movies, with martial arts. So I would recommend that. It's definitely, it's something that you'll probably chuckle through. And it's for everybody, but it resonates more if you've had those aches when there's a storm coming.
Yeah. Is this a movie or a series?
It's a movie. It's like an hour,
cool.
Maybe like an hour, 45 minutes. And there is another movie, if you're into vampires, it's also on Netflix. It's called Blood Red Sky, and it's about
that's a good one. Sorry, I did watch that.
I remembered it too, and you wrote it. I was like, oh, I love that movie. I forgot about it.
Yeah, it's like a group of terrorists hijack a overnight transatlantic flight, and a mysteriously ill woman must unleash a monstrous secret to protect her young son. This is one of those movies that when I watched it, I was like, whatever. But I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than I thought. And it was an interesting take on, like a vampire thing. I think that's kind of cool when everybody's on a plane and everything is so, tightly wound together.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. And
Nowhere
actually,
to go. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it kind of lets you know how big some of these planes
They're huge.
are.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I would recommend those two, and I'll let all of you, because like I said, a lot of the stuff that you have written down, I've watched some, so I'll just chime in on your picks.
I'll have to say, though, for Blood Red Sky, I don't want to give you spoilers, but the one thing that bugged me through that movie was that son, needed a spanking. He kept getting into all the shit.
Walking Dead for Carl in the early days never stayed in the fucking house. Stay where I told you to fucking stay.
Exactly. He don't listen. She gets shot because he doesn't pay, he doesn't fucking listen to terrorists. It's like, they're terrorists. Listen to what they have to fucking say. And of course he doesn't. And she ends up getting shot. It's like, seriously, kid. And that's just kind of like the moving theme throughout the whole movie, all the way to the very end. That kid just doing what the fuck he wanted to do. He didn't care what anybody else was saying. And I was like,
if he doesn't listen to terrorists, he damn sure ain't listening to Mama, I suppose.
No. But otherwise, I really did love the concept of that movie, and I thought it was really clever, and the ending was really, really good. I thought, how are they going to end this, And I thought it was good. It was definitely worth a watch, so for sure. I'm glad you remembered it. I forgot.
Yeah, because I liked it too, but I forgot, so there you go.
So I put down clickbait because I saw Moni put clickbait down and I forgot about clickbait. But yes, I watched clickbait. That was really good, different. Just when you think you knew what was going on, you did not know what the fuck was going on till the very end. It just threw out all these different surprises. Every episode was put there to make you think, and after that episode that you knew who did it. Mm-hmm. And then every next episode you realized you didn't know, all the way to the very end. And then you're just like, holy shit, at the end. It was really good. Definitely worth a watch. I would very much recommend that one. And then when I went to San Diego, not only did I see Moni, I saw my brother, who just had a newborn, and got to see his 3-year-old son, who I had not seen since he was 1 due to pandemic. And then got to meet the new baby, and they love themselves some movies. So we watched a lot of movies, and I have this weird thing where I'm very, I guess, more judgy and about my movies than I think I am. So there were some movies that I had not watched before that I watched with them. And one of them was Kong Skull Island. That, I thought that was a great movie. I had never had any interest in watching it. And I'm really not that big into King Kong. I'm more of a Godzilla girl, but I did enjoy this one. I thought it was just going to be about King Kong, and it had all kinds of fucking monsters in it. So if you like monsters, watch Kong Skull Island if you haven't seen it already. Then I had never seen The Greatest Showman. I know people are going to shit on me about it. I don't like musicals, so that was, I did enjoy it though. I did enjoy it. So now I'm going to have to revisit my lack of liking musicals. I like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I like, what do you call it with the talking plant that eats things?
Oh, yeah. Feed me, Seymour.
Yeah, what can I think of that? Anyway,
Shop
that
one. Horrors. Shop of Horrors. There
Shop
we
of
go.
Horrors, yes. Seen those two, but that was all, and then now I've seen The Greatest Showman, and I really enjoyed that, so I guess I'm gonna have to now revisit musicals. And this one my daughter came home from college, this weekend, and I forced her to watch Fried Green Tomatoes with me because she had never seen it. And so I put it on here because if you haven't seen Fried Green Tomatoes, it is an absolute 100% must watch. It's one of those movies that you have to watch. You cannot go your life without watching it, period. I think it's made in 91. It has Kathy Bates in it. It just has, it has Chris O'Donnell from when he was a kid. It has Mary Stuart Masterson, like so many actresses and actors. Such an amazing movie. And it's one of my all-time favorites. So I had to put it in here. And then I watched Turning Point, the 9/11 War on Terror documentary. I'm still watching it actually on Netflix.
Is that one episodic?
Yeah, it's the series.
Okay, I've watched the first two of those too. It's really well done and sad.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It gave me a lot more intel and behind the scenes on what caused the attack. Like, I thought I knew, but I guess I didn't know all the details. So it was great in going all the way back to where things started. I still have some issues. I think they've kind of whitewashed some of our participation in why we were in those wars and why we weren't doing it out of the kindness of our hearts.
That part definitely goes by a little fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're doing it because we wanted their oil, period. We were getting involved because we needed that relationship. There's genocides and shit happening all over the world that we don't even give two shits about. So I can't fully believe that was 100% why we were, just for freeing the women. Yeah, no, sorry, I wasn't buying that part of it, but I get why they put it out that way. But it was really good. A lot of footage on the actual buildings and the crashes and a lot of inside stories and things. So so far I'm enjoying it. And then I listened to an audio book, Timeline by Michael Crichton, and it was really good. It's about accidental kind of time travel where they end up having to go back in time in like medieval France. And it's a group of scientists who were trying to recreate the very castle that they have to go back to. And due to some technology that their contributor, this billionaire guy, they go to him looking for their professor and find out that he went back into time and hasn't come back and is lost. So these scientists of his that were students of his go back to try to find him. And it's very good. I enjoyed the story. It was different, fun, kind of funny. You chuckle here and there. You really get into the characters and their storylines and kind of grow attached to them. So it was really, really recommended.
Nice. Is that
so?
Oh, go ahead.
I'll let you talk about yours, and then you're talking about the movie we're giving away. So talk about the movie, and then we'll talk about the giveaway.
Sure. Have either one of you seen Quiet Place 2?
Yes.
I still have not.
It's
good. Fun.
I thought it was better than the first one. I was surprised. I surprised myself that I thought it was just as good, if not better, than the first one.
And I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble remembering all of it because it's been a minute here, but I did really enjoy it. I do know that. It was well acted, Cillian Murphy, everybody. But yeah, no, that's a good movie. Enjoyed it. It's on Paramount Plus. I think it might have left there and theaters, and we're waiting for it to be available, for streaming or for purchase. but it's a good film, and Kristi has a giveaway opportunity to discuss about it.
Yes. So I received 5 of The Quiet Place Part 2, 4K, Ultra HD, Blu-ray, digital, bonus content, movies for The Quiet Place to give away. And we're going to do a giveaway. So we're going to give away 3 on the show, and we're going to give away 2 on our social media. So you have 2 opportunities to win a movie. To win it from the show side, all you have to do is go leave us a positive review on Apple iTunes. So I know you guys have probably you guys were probably listening back in the drama when we had to seek legal action about somebody who had copied our name. It appears that they did not go quietly into the night and decided to attack our page with bad reviews. So that's my theory, because it all just happened right around that time. And so we are struggling to get our reviews back up. So it would be awesome if you guys would go and leave us a positive review. Make sure you listen to the next show, because that's when we will announce who wins from the reviews. And we will call your name, and we will tell you how to contact us to get your free movie mailed to you. And then on social media, you can go to our pages. We will be hosted on Facebook, and just like our Facebook page and comment in the post, and you could win that way too. And like I said, we'll be giving away 5. So 3 on the reviews and 2 on our social media.
Sweet. That's exciting. And like I said, it's a good, like we all co-sign, well, Kristi and I, it's a great movie. So
yeah,
do that.
It was surprisingly good. When they approached me about the giveaway, I hadn't seen it yet. So I was like, oh, great. I'm committing to something that I don't even know if it's any good, but I really did. They explained so much about how it all started, how the attack happened. Mm-hmm. And they go into a lot of detail about that, which that was the one gripe I had about the first one was you have no idea how this all started, but Quiet Place 2 shows you how it all starts. So that's, I was really happy with that.
Nice. So yes, please leave the good reviews and let me go ahead and try to get through the rest of it, because I've been watching a lot of things. Yardley, have you been watching What If?
Yes, I enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and then the third one, which I think was the What If the Avengers Didn't Exist, or it was something like that. That one was
It's and then really I think dark shit too. Yeah. Like you don't think that an animated Marvel jaunt of 28 minutes in length per week could depress the fuck out of you, but man, they really.
Well, they kill it. You know, it's funny because I know that like a lot of people and like, you know, maybe the DC folks, because the animation is great. So it's almost like Marvel's about to take over that too, as far as like,
it's beautiful.
But I mean, we'll see where it goes, because I think, is this just going to be a one season only thing, right?
Done so far as we know at this time.
But the Doctor Strange one was pretty cool. So I think that it's solid. I mean, I've enjoyed more of them than I haven't. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like you said, you really hit the nail on the head. It's well done. I don't love it. Y'all can watch it and let us know what you think. Clickbait, as our other co-hosts mentioned, we have all watched it. That was actually Yardley's recommendation, and I don't know if I would have watched it if not. And I ended up really enjoying that. And that was a fun, twisty, like 2 days of binging that my husband and I did in between kid duties. So, and then I saw Yardley, you're also watching 9 Perfect Strangers.
I know. I ended up watching that. I'm ready for the next installment. I mean, I like Melissa McCarthy in certain stuff. Yeah. And I thought that she worked with her playing off of, I can't remember the other actor, but it's definitely an interesting story, and I'm going to assume that there's going to be more, right?
Yeah, there's more episodes for sure. I think there's at least one more. We might have gotten to, so what it is, guys, is it's a lot of celebrities too. Nicole Kidman being one of them, but and Melissa McCarthy, like you mentioned, that really messed up people that go to a really beautiful retreat and end up doing like some smoothies that have drugs in them. All of this is under the care and guidance of Masha, quote unquote, who is Nicole Kidman's character. And we don't really know why, like what her real motives are behind all this, but she definitely like handpicked the group that she has. There's some threats coming her way. There's a lot going on in this show, but it is interesting. It's very well acted, and I recommend it for sure. Have either one of you checked out Only Murders in the Building?
I have not, but I was almost going to add it to the queue.
It's Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of it. Yeah, I'm going to keep watching that. It's okay. I think that it's all right.
It's cute, huh? So basically, it's literally a murder or suicide or a mysterious death happens to someone who works in the building, and these three all have different motivations for trying to figure out who done it, why, and they're making a podcast about it. And of course, they're all like failed actors and former old-timey directors. And then there's Selena Gomez, and we know why she's involved, but the characters are slowly finding out why she's involved. And honestly, real quick, I wouldn't think that Selena Gomez could hold her own with the likes of Martin Short and Steve Martin, but I think however they directed her, however they wrote her character, I think she's doing a good job. So
I hope I have Martin Short's energy when I get into it.
Right. That guy just bounces around still. And then I watched *Malignant*. It's the new James Wan that came out in theaters and on HBO on the same day. It has a cool concept, and I don't want to spoil what that concept is, but you know, the twist in it is fun. I don't love the film. It has moments. James Wan movies always have moments. But I'm glad I didn't go to the theater to see it. Let me put it that way. So, check that out if you get a chance on HBO. I watched the Candyman 2021. Did either one of you get a chance to go to that?
No.
No?
I did not.
You did not? Oh, okay. So, I enjoyed it when I was watching it. It's not super scary, but it is creepy, suspenseful, mysterious, well acted. Definitely has moments. They definitely did a good job narratively, like pulling together the first two films and like writing how that all happened, because there's a lot of plot holes in the first couple of films that you're like, where the fuck did this all come from? So they brought that all together really well with what they had to work with. That being said, I enjoyed it while I was watching it. I've almost forgotten it. Like, no, it was good, and then it was over. Same cannot be said for Shang-Chi. Have you seen Shang-Chi?
Never heard of it.
Oh, my God.
Of course. Well, I mean, I haven't seen it, and it's just mainly, I mean, everybody's saying that it's good, and everybody says it has the action, but I can't get over Awkwafina. At some point, I'm going to watch it. But just, Moni, just tell me, like, is it...
Oh, wait. Is it the cartoon?
No,
that's Ray and the Last Dragon, the one that I was saying. Yeah.
Line of
I
stories.
watched that
Marvel.
with my nephew, so I thought that's what I thought y'all were talking about.
Oh, okay.
Does she work in it, Moni? I mean, is it something?
I enjoyed the film. It's a nearly perfect film for me. I did have my kids there, so I was like dealing with the little one getting all squiggly at times, but you'll enjoy it. There's dragons. There's obviously the fight scenes. There's a lot going on.
I think the things that I've seen, there's some things that I've seen her in where I just wasn't really feeling it. But if she's good and, you know, if she's good at something, that I'm going to give her credit for it. I couldn't do the Ray and the Last Dragon because she was dragging. I just can't hear the voice constantly.
Yeah, no.
You know, on that. But,
well, for better or for worse, the female characters don't get a lot of play in this film, so maybe you'll like it better. I mean, not that you'll like the, but
I know it's Awkwafina. All I know is it's Awkwafina, and she's a female. I ain't feeling Awkwafina, but if she's good, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have to watch it. So you know, good. At some point, you know what I mean?
Enjoy the film.
I do.
Take it in.
Yeah, so I'll go there definitely off of your recommendation and my loyalty to these Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Marvel movie. Okay.
Yeah. All right. And then as our co-host mentioned, we saw Blood Red Sky, really enjoyed that. I also snuck to the theater. I've been sneaking to the theater when my kids are in school. I saw I saw Free Guy, which is the one with, oh my God, the cutie.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes. Has either one of you seen that one?
No, well, what is that about? It sounds familiar.
Yeah, so basically he's an AI, like, that starts to get his own, he's a non-playable character in a game that actually starts to become self-aware, and it's still in the construct of the game, and so that obviously messes up the game, and the game corporation doesn't like it and wants to do away with him, and they don't really understand what he is, so it's really cute. It's actually kind of a love story. Don't want to give away too much more than that, but wait till it's available for streaming, but it's definitely worth a watch. It's really cute. So, and I'm just going through these fast because I know Mr. Yards has a party, which I'm really jealous. I want to go have a tailgate. Right. But I just started last night. I've watched the first 2 episodes of The Exorcist on Hulu, like The Exorcist from the TV show. It's okay. It hasn't grabbed me where, like, I super care about the characters, and it does come from Fox originally. It's a series that's completely over now.
Okay. When did that drop on Hulu?
I don't know when it dropped on Hulu, but they've got the whole thing, so you can, start it, and if you like it, you can continue. It's definitely got moments. It's interesting. Because I've run out of a glut of other things to watch temporarily, I'll probably finish it, but yeah, so. And then leading into what will be our next episode, which is going to be on the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders. I had already asked Kristi if she remembered this, and she didn't really remember the story. Yardley, do you remember anything like because there was controversy and there was a lot of unsolved mystery around it, but it happened originally in 1977, but it went on for years. Do you remember anything about the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders?
I actually can't say that I have, but
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm interested now.
I'm excited to bring it to you guys. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible story as far as, like, young girls being raped and murdered in the forest. Really young girls. But it's also, like, going into our Halloween spooky season, it has everything, you guys. It's somewhat unsolved, tons of twists and turns, police being shitheads, Cherokee Indians and magic. It's creepy. It's genuinely a scary story. It's got everything. So I listened to 2 extraordinary episodes about it on this podcast that I found called Morbid. There are 2 young ladies who do this podcast, and I love them. Like, I would love to invite them into our stuff if they would even want to. Anyway, I listened to their take on it. I also watched on YouTube. It's actually narrated by Johnny Cash. It's called Someone Cry for the Children. It's a little cheesy, and it's, like, recorded off of a recording, but it is it's well done. And if you check it out, Someone Cry for the Children, the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders documentary on YouTube, and it does have exclusive interviews, like with the person who discovered the young ladies' bodies and one of the parents of the young ladies and all these different elements. It's, like I said, it has everything. It's a heartbreaking ass story, but it's a long story, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys on our next show. So I know I went through that really quick. Any questions, comments from my cohorts?
No. I'm actually excited about this one, especially since it's something that I can't really recall. So I'm ready to dig in on that, Moni.
I couldn't believe I had never heard of it either, and I was surprised you guys don't remember it because it was a huge case at the time. Not that you remember.
So what you're saying is we're old, is what
I knew you were going to say that.
That's what I was going to say.
It happened. But they didn't arrest anybody for it for years, so it went on through the 80s, and yeah, no, this case
we weren't old enough to go to the discotheque, Moni. Yeah.
My daughter asked me, my 4-year-old asked me what a CD player was the other day. That's in our car still, and I was just like, fuck. So, yeah. Anyway, on that note.
I found a phone booth in the old area of our town and showed it to the kids, and they were just, like, shocked. They, never seen a phone before. So it's like, here's a phone booth. You have to stop your car, and you had to make a call if you wanted to kind of hold of somebody because you didn't have phones in your cars. And they're like, what? Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we will cover that next week. Sorry for the rush, you guys, but thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for catching up with us after our hiatus. We look forward to getting on a more regular schedule and being with you all very soon. So, anything else, you guys?
Just don't forget about the giveaway.
Yeah. Go leave us some good reviews. Help us out.
Yes, tell us combat these assholes that just are the gift that keep on
giving. The shitty gift that keeps on giving. See,
Yep.
that's the theme. So.
All because they stole our name after we had it for over a year. So that's bullshit, and I'm over it. And let's just all be happy and positive. I didn't even leave them a bad review, and I should have. So screw them.
I haven't even revealed their names, but I might have to now. So,
right?
Yeah.
I'm just thought about it. That's because I looked at our rating and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. And then I went, oh, yeah, I see what's happening here. So with that, Yardley, enjoy your tailgating. I'm going to go make some chili and see if I survive Survivor football this week. And everybody else, Creep It Real and Moni, thank you so much for putting this show together since I was incapacitated.
Yes, and happy pooping, girl.
Thank you. I'm happy to be home and pooping on a regular schedule now. Yay.
Thanks.
I knew this wasn't just another day. The signs were pulling me away. And everything might not be what it seems. 'Cause the nightmares keep calling me. I knew this wasn't the right way to go. I care less what to learn than what I know. And I can only see this in my dream.